Mystery Mogul. Mystery Thursday, Mystery Mogul, and Jonah's gonna guide us through a scary tale. What's it about today?
Today is the story of a woman whose murder left no evidence and no leads, but was solved in the most unexpected way.
Oh, it's been solved.
It has been solved,
Interesting.
yes. But you'll never guess how.
Where in the world are we going for this story?
We're going to the good old United States.
Are you ready to begin?
I am. This story begins on a chilly Chicago night in the February of 1977. Teresita Basa, a Philippine native who immigrated to the U.S. to pursue her education, was working as a respiratory therapist at a local hospital. In her free time, she was working towards her doctoral thesis and teaching piano lessons. Her quiet and work-filled lifestyle made her the last person anyone would suspect to be the victim of a violent crime. On February 21st, 1977, Teresita worked her normal shift and returned home. At 7:30, she spoke on the phone for 20 minutes with her friend Ruth, but was reported to have ended the call to receive a male guest. Ruth didn't ask for the man's name or any other details, but she was the last person to speak to Teresita alive. At 8:40 p.m., a couple who lived down the hall from Teresita thought that they smelled smoke, but were unable to determine the source. Concerned, they contacted the Chicago Fire Department. Firefighters forced entry into Teresita's home and were able to extinguish the flames in minutes. But once the fire was out, they were horrified to realize that the blaze had not been accidental. On the floor, under a mattress, they found Teresita's body. She was naked and had a kitchen knife planted deeply in the center of her chest. In an attempt to destroy evidence, the murderer had thrown a pile of clothing on top of her and then lit the clothing on fire. They had then placed her mattress on top of her and set it on fire as well. Detectives could find no evidence except for a note with the words, "Get theater tickets for AS." After interviewing all who knew her, the lack of leads caused the case to go cold. The investigation began to heat up in July 1977 when Detective Joe Stachula was contacted by Dr. Jose Chua, a doctor who lived in Skokie, a suburb of Chicago. He did indeed provide them with the information they needed to finally solve the murder case, but in a way they never saw coming.
Interesting. Okay, so we go back to the 1970s for this one, 1977. Teresita, Basa, moved from the Philippines to America to improve her education, pursue her education. So she was on the phone with her friend Ruth. No problems at all. Then someone's at the door. Teresita says, "Oh, I gotta go, Ruth."
Exactly.
And then hangs up the phone, and that was it.
And that was it.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out through all of these details, the fire, the clothing, the mattress on top. What was it that the doctor could have eventually discovered from the rubble or from the remains that would have given it away as to who did this?
And who is this doctor? It's like a coroner or...
Dr. Jose Chua?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah, exactly, because Dr. Jose Chua was the person who contacted the detective, Joe Stachula, right? And this was in Chicago City. But that doctor was from a suburb of Chicago.
Exactly. So when I first heard this story, I was a little confused about how they could be related. But
Oh, yeah.
he does solve it.
Okay, we'll think about this. All right. So again, Teresita Basa moved from the Philippines to America, was on the phone with her friend one night in Chicago, hung up the phone because someone, a male visitor, we know that, was at the door. And then that was the last time anyone heard from her. Firefighters were called to the scene to put out a fire. The killer had put a knife in her chest, put clothes on her, and a mattress that the killer set on fire to try to hide the evidence, but it didn't work. And then fast forward a few months later, March, April, May, June, July, 5 months later, a detective got a call or was contacted by a doctor who lived in a suburb south of Chicago and gave them the information they needed to solve the crime. I cannot for the life of me figure out what this might be. So go on.
Yes. So Dr. Chua asked the detectives at first when they met if they believed in anything supernatural or occult related. Because he believed that his wife, Remedios, also known as Remy, had been possessed by the spirit of Teresita Basa.
Oh.
So let me explain. So one day, Remy suddenly, while sleeping, began to speak to her husband in a voice that was not her own.
Really?
In a completely comatose, trance-like state.
Okay.
So this voice had told her husband, Dr. Chua, who the murderer was,
What?
when they had done it,
Oh.
why they were even supposed to be in the apartment in the first place,
Uh-huh.
and also offered proof as to how they can show that this is the person that did it. So at first, Dr. Chua had kind of ignored the voice, thinking there's no way that
Yeah.
this voice from my wife is solving the case. But after it happened over multiple weeks,
Oh.
finally he decided that he wanted to let the police know.
So they gave them a name and then the police checked it out and it was that person?
So of course, us too, we would be
Uh-huh.
very skeptical about
Yeah.
hearing this kind of thing. But the big thing that led the police to actually pursue this lead was the name that the voice gave them.
Which was?
Yes.
AS stands for Alan
After service.
Showery.
Oh.
After Service Center. No. the AS stands for Alan Showery.
Okay.
Showery.
Okay.
Alan Showery.
Whoa. Whoa.
So after the police investigated and did a background check on this Alan Showery, they found that not only did this man work at the same hospital, he also lived in the same neighborhood as Teresita.
Okay.
So what had happened was Teresita had invited him to come over to fix her television.
Okay.
But because of financial struggle, he came to the house and decided to rob her instead.
Oh.
Now, after she struggled to resist him, he attacked her. And to hide any evidence, he covered her in clothes and lit her mattress on fire.
And they were able to prove this and they arrested and charged him.
They arrested and charged him. Now, the way they could find and prove that it was him is because the voice had told them that he had stolen a very specific set of jewelry that belonged to Teresita that was given to her as a gift from her parents.
And they found that.
So when they went to Alan's apartment, his girlfriend was there
Yeah.
wearing the jewels.
Dun dun dun.
What in the world?
Wow.
What in the world?
The police to this day, even though they charged him, he confessed, still have no idea how this voice from this woman gave them all the correct details.
Best story of mystery Mogul.
That is the most mystery of mystery Mogul that we've ever had
Double mystery.
on this double mystery Mogul. All right, thanks for that.